Here I am. All righty. Today, what we are doing is we are going to talk about family and food, those very great things that your family, those things that remind you of family, special dishes, those kind of things, even holiday things. And today I have Clearwater Chad on
Hi.
him. Hello, Chad. And I have Clearwater Claire, the ethical tailor.
Hey.
Hey, Claire.
Hey. So helps if I put my headset on. I can't hear a thing, right?
Oh,
How are y'all today?
good, thank you.
Good, thank
Awesome, awesome. Terry will be joining us shortly. She's dolling herself up.
Oh, nice.
So, what we're talking about today is food and family, those kinds of dishes and those kinds of foods that remind you that you grew up with, that remind you of family times. Um, those kind of things are really special for a lot of people. So, and I know you're in Europe, Claire, so Thanksgiving is not a thing for you.
No.
But here in the United States, do have a holiday coming up called Thanksgiving. Of course, we have Halloween coming up first. So I call this Happy Hollow Thanksmas because
Oh,
they all
nice.
kind of run together. But anyway, so I'm assuming that there are certain holiday foods and things like that you guys over in the UK um, tend to have. What kind of things are those things?
I'd like to say that I know, but I don't. We have more sort of kind of regional foods. The UK is not heavily religious as it sort of would have been before. So I think a lot of the kind of meals around Easter and things like that
Mm-hmm.
has kind of dropped off. In our family, it's Sunday roast.
Ah,
And that's kind of comes out for every sort of celebration, be it your birthday,
right.
be it Easter, anything, a bank holiday, and obviously on a Sunday. But but yeah, apart from that, we don't really have like celebration meals as such.
Ah, so there's not a big Christmas dinner or anything because that's one of the big things here in the states
Yes,
is that we do.
yeah, so we do Christmas dinner is sort of, but that would be like the only one.
Mhm.
And you tend to have dinner on the sort of like Christmas day. It tends to be a later one,
Right.
sort of like a later lunch, but we obviously
Hmm.
call it dinner. And it will be, so roast turkey is the sort of tradition.
Right.
But my mum is a chicken person, just also because our family is quite small, so a
Right.
turkey's not always been too big, really. And but yeah, sort of like my brother-in-law and sister like to go quite fancy with like 3 different meats,
Oh wow.
even though there's usually like 6 of us max. Um, and yeah, like, and I've had like friends that do sort of lobsters and things like that. So
Oh
it's
wow.
sort of yeah, it can be very, very varied. But the staple will be, yeah, kind of turkey. You've got to have roast potatoes,
Right.
really nice, crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside,
Oh yeah.
and a Yorkshire pudding,
Okay.
as Mark and Claire will do.
Right.
Yeah, we have Yorkshire pudding with everything, and Brussels sprouts. You've got to have at least one Brussels sprout, as much as potatoes as
Little bit
well.
of everything.
Yeah, and yeah, and then sort of kind of other veg. So we'll do like sort of
Awesome.
broad
Yeah.
beans and carrots and peas and things like that. And then roast parsnips, roasted, honey roasted.
Oh
And
yeah. That'd be good.
yeah, oh, they're gorgeous. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Um, no, I feel like that's cauliflower cheese. That's what we always have. My
Oh
mum
okay.
is like big cauliflower cheese fan,
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
that's like with every meal as well.
Awesome. Any desserts?
So usually like a crumble, fruit crumble. So like an apple or a sort of multi-berry.
Yeah.
And we have what's called a Christmas pudding. So it's like a fruit-based. How to describe it? Because it's kind of a cake, but it's not a cake.
It's almost like a fruit cake, maybe only
Yeah,
softer.
kind of. It's a bit more sticky toffee pudding
Okay.
sort of texture. There's a bit of sort of controversy. Like some people like it, some people don't.
That's always
Yeah, but it tends to come in like sort of a dome-shaped
right.
container,
Mhm.
and you tend to boil it. Or like
Okay.
my mum will do hers in the microwave, and then you have custard. And
Awesome.
since my brother-in-law has been in the family, we do cream and custard because
Okay.
he's big on the cream. Yeah, and then there's sort of kind of Christmas cake, which is obviously
Right.
a drier fruit-based cake with often with like icing over the top, and mince pies, yeah, all sorts of different things.
Hello, Poet. Hello, Terry. Thanks
Hi,
for
guys.
joining us. Claire was just giving us a rundown on what Christmas dinner is like in the UK.
Oh boy.
So, yeah. So,
And just going on from the meat, sorry, is that if like you do have turkey or chickens or wherever you have,
right.
and it tends to obviously be because of like the turkey being so big, you will then use that like the leftovers in whatever meals you have between sort of
weeks.
Christmas and New Year's. Yeah.
For weeks.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the meals afterwards. Like some people do like buffets on Boxing
Mhm.
Days and things, but my mum will tend to do like curries and things like that with it.
Yeah, I tend to freeze quite a bit. There's only 4 of us that tend to show up. Sometime my daughter's in Colorado this year, so she won't be here. But and then I'll take some of it and freeze it, and then we have Thanksgiving turkey throughout the year. So, I'll make turkey pot pie and stuff like that with it. So, Chad, tell me about your family's foods that remind you of family.
Oh, I mean, yeah, when we were growing up and stuff, we had the traditional Thanksgiving. Trying to think, with the
Mhm.
apple pies and pumpkin pies, and of course the turkey. And my mother, she always used to add us, since we're Italian American. She always used to make a full size lasagna too.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, love
Yum.
lasagna.
Yum.
Oh boy. Oh, love lasagna.
Yeah, my daughter does a killer lasagna. She really does it really well, and she'll sometimes do that instead of turkey because she just feels more comfortable with it.
Now I'm wanting lasagna.
That's like the one thing that I miss the most because I can't have tomatoes anymore.
Oh no!
Oh,
they don't like me anymore, and yeah, lasagna is my fave.
My sister-in-law, I mean, she is Sicilian Italian, just like my husband, and my sister-in-law discovered she was allergic to onions.
Oh boy!
And here we are, an Italian that can't have onions. It's just she is just beside herself about it. She's
literally, I get asked so many times, why don't I like tomatoes? And I'm like, no.
I like them. They
don't like you. Huh?
Exactly.
I miss my fried up one.
Oh no! Yeah, fried green tomatoes would not be good for you.
Oh Lord, I love good fried green tomatoes.
Me too. I had some for dinner the other night.
Oh,
really? Awesome. So Terry, how about you? What is your family favorites? What things remind you most of family?
Well, looking at this crowd, I thought it would be interesting since you and Brian and I are from the South, how ours would probably be same but different.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents were raised in southeastern Virginia.
Right.
Very different. So my mother always makes or made these mashed potatoes that were a little different.
Okay.
And so my sister and I do that. And Mom always made it in her head, and I made her write it down. But it's a stuffing, and she does white bread. It has to be like the whitest bread, and she'd toast it and put it in strips.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept saying, "Oh, it's in my head," and I had to convince her the only way we could ever pass it down was because it was
To
her
write it
beloved
down.
mother's recipes. So she wrote it down, and I've got it somewhere, but it's real hard to make. Everything's from scratch. And then
Yeah.
cornbread stuffing
Yeah.
with lots of onions.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, my
And
my
husband's
grandmother was one of those cooks like your mother, and the sad part about it is she's passed, and I was madly going through my family trying to get her chicken and dumplings recipe,
oh,
and
everybody has that in their head. That's
Mhm.
something everybody
Yeah.
just makes.
And I remember making it with her quite a few times when I was younger, but I just never, when you're young, you don't think to write stuff down. And so here I was just madly trying to find it, and I finally just hit YouTube up, and I saw one that was, that was familiar. That was like, okay, this looks, So I went ahead and made that one, and it turned out really well. That video probably will be going up tomorrow. But yeah, chicken and dumplings is one of my family's, big time. Every time we visited grandma, she made a big pot of chicken and dumplings.
And our
Oh.
desserts are always strange because my mom she always made pecan pie.
Yeah.
But my husband, the tradition in his family was hummingbird cake.
Okay.
Mm.
And so I had to learn how to make that.
Oh wow, that's fun.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's fun. It's different.
Awesome. How about you, Poet? What's a family tradition in your life?
Well, I was sitting here thinking and everything. Thanksgiving, Christmas, the usual things. My ex-in-laws, my sister-in-law really liked to make. She liked to do home. They went all out for Thanksgiving and all that stuff, and homemade cranberry sauce, homemade this, homemade that, and I was never much on cranberry sauce until I actually tasted hers. It's my ex-sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
But you talking about Terry talking about her grandmother making the chicken and dumplings, right?
That was me.
That
Yeah.
was in-
Or anyways, they got me thinking about when we were kids, we'd go to West Virginia. That's where my extended family's from. So I've got both some
Right.
of the Appalachia stuff and then stuff from the South, like cornbread dressing and all that stuff. And it didn't matter. Whenever we'd show up, we'd always the days before cell phones, we'd always stop near when we got into West Virginia. Hey, call them. Hey, we're almost there. My grandmother would always have a fresh mess of biscuits and gravy.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a Southern staple.
Yep.
we'd fight over them.
Was it regular gravy or did it have sausage or anything in it?
Just regular
Just
gravy.
White cream gravy.
White cream gravy and biscuit. I don't know how she did it, but I've never ever tasted biscuits and gravy made like my grandmother's. My mom was okay. My mom was almost there, and luckily when I don't know where it is. I'd love to find it, but when my grandmother died, my mom got her gravy pan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I've
so
got
And
my
that's a big
grandmother's
part.
pan.
Yeah, that's a
So
big part of it.
yeah, I don't know where it is. I'd love to find it, but that's the memory of when you're talking about family and food
It's
and all
the
that stuff.
biscuits and gravy.
It's the biscuits and gravy, and then when you're talking about lasagna, it's talking about my aunt's lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
Best lasagna I ever had was made by my aunt, my mom's sister.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
So, since you have center stage right now, you have a new book out. Let's talk a little bit about that. So it's on Amazon. They're reviewing it now.
You can get it now.
You can get it. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, Goldie will probably put stuff in the chat later on.
Yeah.
And stuff. If you go on the Relatable Reese and Coffee Culture Crafts and my Facebook page, I put links to it and
Awesome.
stuff.
I saw that. That's why I knew about it.
Thanks. I've already sold a couple.
Very good.
Yay!
So at least that's what the analytics said. but I'm really excited about it. And never in my wildest dreams would I thought that, I've got Chris Shelton did a little blurb for it, Marcus did a little blurb for it, and then Liz and Claire actually wrote.
Cool.
It's just one page
Forward
each,
and
but
yeah.
the forward and the afterward. I had the idea, and I actually had people help me with it. Goldie was just my angel when it comes to it, because she's did a
What
lot of
can't
things.
that girl do?
She is
She's
like I always
amazing.
say, she's a goddess amongst us mere mortals.
Yeah, she is amazing.
Mhm.
The stuff that she does, and, the
And
fact
she
that
doesn't
she's
want
there.
credit. She's humble
Yeah.
to no credit. She doesn't care. She just wants people to feel special. At least that's what she's told me when she called me up and told me that Claire had written it and everything and sent it to her. Because like I told Liz the other day, I wasn't going to, when I decided to ask. I thought, I got this going. I got this idea going. I want to do this with it. What can I do to make it more impactful, and get the buzz out? And
Right.
almost instantly, the first person that popped in my head was Claire. I was like, if I could get her to write something for it, then it's legit, and it'll
Yeah.
Everybody's been harping on her to write a book and everything and stuff. So it was just like, I considered it a personal coup.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I really want to start promoting it on other channels. I want to get on Aaron's and talk about, because he's directly responsible.
Right.
With that chat. I don't know if you saw
The Chat GPT thing.
when he was doing on Chat GPT,
Yeah.
messing around with Chat GPT and stuff. It was that was directly responsible for me doing this.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
Mhm.
Congratulations. I have
Thank you.
yet to, I've started, basically what happened with me is my daughter's diabetic. And she said to me that she was having trouble finding low carb recipes
Yeah.
that she liked. She's a very picky eater. And so I said, well, let me think on that for a little bit, Jen. And what I ended up doing was taking those foods that she liked as a kid and
Mhm.
reworking them for a low carb. So like the shepherd's pie that I make, or cottage pie in deference to Claire. But anyway, I, did a mashed cauliflower instead of the mashed potatoes on top.
Mashed cauliflower is pretty good.
Yeah. And the gravy was actually done in a way that was a reduction instead of using a flour base, and those types of things. And so like I said, this is a ability to, in fact, I need to get started on it, to give her Christmas and birthday gifts for years on end. Just,
Cool.
Come up with a few more recipes and send them to her,
Have you ever thought about doing a cookbook?
I have, and that's part of that, her cookbook that I've sent her. And basically what I do is I write the recipes and I print them and I laminate them so that and then I put them in a binder so you can take them out and set them next to you. And if you drip stuff on it, you can just wipe it off, so I've got it actually started. It's not very far, and probably here I'll start adding some of these other ones to it that are non-low carb that I've been doing on the website, because on YouTube, because I have, for people to make it easier so they can print out the recipe, I have it sitting on a Facebook page. So I have PDF files. So I have all of these recipes, and I believe, I know Denver Stevo has access to it, and I believe I've just given Marilyn. But anyway, I have a whole, in fact, Google's yelling at me to buy more space because I have so many recipes that I've written.
Well, I printed out your one you put up the other day for the cobbler.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually going to try this. I've actually got everything to do it.
Yeah, that's my grandmother's cobbler. It's actually, her initial one was a peach cobbler. And we make it in my immediate family. We do it as a cherry because all of us
I prefer cherry cobbler. I like the tart.
Yeah, and so, and it's a whole lot easier. I mean, you could make the compote because I do have that recipe, but it's just easier to grab a couple of cans and throw cherry pie filling in there. It's a very simple one. Yeah, it's a very simple one. I did a chocolate cobbler last night that I videoed that'll be coming up, so enjoy that one. It's a traditional recipe. I'm going to try to do some traditionals that aren't actually mine. that are from back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and that's an area I'm looking at. And then I've already started on working on the what I call Dinner with Danny Cell Block Cuisine.
Oh yeah, you
So-
were. Yeah, I remember you saying something about that.
Yeah, so I'm working on that one. I've got a couple. And Chad, I threw up last night. I threw up another single parent recipe.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's rice, roni, and chicken. It's really simple.
How about single dude recipes?
Well, the single parents will work for single dudes too. You know.
Well. It's too.
Right around a minute, so they're really convenient.
Yeah, they're a minute long. It literally has a limit of time that I can put it up there. It's literally a minute.
I was trying to give her a good idea for more people to watch videos, because I said, well, when I go to a cooking video, I just click on the shortest one. So that's kind of how
Yeah.
Because who has time? The kid, they can't wait.
They're hungry. They want food now.
Yep.
Now.
Yeah, and it's the same way with me with on the political stuff or the nerd stuff and all that stuff. Sometimes I'll want to watch more in-depth stuff, like their hours-long coverage, but just give me the basics. Tell me what's going on.
Yep.
And be done with it. I still got a lot more, my notes from the universe. They're under 1 minute. I've still got a lot of those I got to do and all that stuff. I got a lot of videos. I got like 10,000 damn videos I want to do in my
you and me
brain.
both.
And it's just like,
Yeah, and it's like, which one do I do? Which one do I do? Which one do I do?
and lately, all my mental energy and all that stuff has just been going into this.
To that book, yeah.
Yes, this has just been it's been a labor of love,
Yeah.
And then now I'm okay. Now I got to go into the next project. Kim and Choctaw Princess I'm helping them with some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And write your recipes down, because I want you to submit some recipes for the SPTV collection.
Oh, honey, I have a lot of recipes.
Well, I'm limiting. You give me your 5 bests, and I'll pick 1 or 2 of those. I'll probably end up trying them out.
You've got one of them in your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. The whole month of October will be submission time. And then hopefully it won't take me too long to do all the file. The hardest part about doing that will probably be selecting what I want to print and, putting together the file.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I am so proud of you for having that book out. That is just amazing.
Thank you.
We're really proud of you, and we're going to have to go. All of us need to go buy a copy.
Yeah, because remember, 50% of the revenue, of the after-tax profits. You gotta make sure Uncle Sam gets their cut.
Gets their fit, yeah.
Yeah, that way I can take a tax deduction on the rest of it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it roughly goes out to third for the government, third for Aftermath, third for the business, and all that stuff. Because awesome. I want to give back. And Chad, I've been talking about this for months, haven't I?
Yeah, I've heard you.
Yeah, I've been talking about it for months, and there was just one hurdle after the other. One little bump in the road. A lot of patience, and I am a very impatient person.
You and me both.
I was gonna quote something, and I'm like, wait a minute. No, you were the one that quoted that earlier in the chat. You said nothing good is worthwhile, right?
Yep, nothing worthwhile is ever easy.
Ever easy, exactly.
Yeah, that's a truism,
It is.
And this has been fun too. It's been frustrating but fun. I've found myself in the latter part of my life becoming a publisher. And
very nice. So you self-published.
Self-published, yes. I started.
Me and you are going to have to talk when I get ready to do that cookbook.
Yeah, definitely. I started my own little. It was a. If you go back and watch the indie authors interviews that Mark and Claire Headley did with them,
right?
They talked all about the publishing and all that stuff, and that's what gave me the initial idea. Because awesome. I'd been submitting some stuff to different publications, This is not what we're looking for. Oh, we liked it. Like this. This is not what more. This is not what we're looking for. Or good luck somewhere else, which usually means screw you. We don't like your stuff.
Yeah.
So just eliminate the middleman. Tell my story, and just go from there. Now the hardest part is going to be marketing.
Yeah.
Which I know crap about. See, that's where publishing. That's where more established publishing houses and all that stuff come in. They got the business side of it. So the creative side is one aspect, the business side is another.
Well, you could do some of your reading on your, on lives on your YouTube or, as you do as currently.
Yeah. And then like, the big thing is like book tours. Where do I go?
Right.
I definitely want to do one with Liz Gale.
Awesome.
Because, we kind of, it's kind of long.
Collaborated.
We're both potheads. She, she did something for the book and all that stuff and stuff like that. So I'm trying to set something up with Marcus down in New Orleans for later this year.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
So that's not too far from you.
No, it's not. It's not very far at all. If I knew people in the book industry, I would see what I could do to help you out here in the Austin area.
Just hey, go to a bookstore. Do this. Go buy my book. Go to a bookstore and see. Because I know Austin. I lived in San Antonio for 4 years. So, and I've been, I love 6th Street in Austin.
Well, Austin, they say keep it weird. So, I mean,
I love
that's right down that alley.
So
a lot of artists.
So you never know.
How about an idea for places to sort of do book readings? How about because over here we have like vape stores and things like that sort of. So I don't know kind of what you guys have, if there's anything in particular for weed and such things.
Well,
but like maybe something like that, or maybe like a cafe. It doesn't have to be a bookstore.
Well, the problem I have is where I live.
Mm-hmm.
I live out in the middle of nowhere in BFE, Arkansas. Right? So there's not even a Scientology presence. The only Scientologist I know of was that one that Loman or whatever the hell her name was that Andrew Gold interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the crazy girl.
Yeah. The Tom Cruise wife wannabe, her poor woman. And so the nearest presence to me is Dallas, Kansas City, and maybe Memphis or Nashville, in that area.
In that area, right.
So that's the closest. So I'm figuring.
Well, once Reese moves to Nashville, then you can go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely there. That's so it just depends on what I'd like to go do something in Los Angeles. And definitely Clearwater area, because like if we end up ever having that SP convention, SPTV convention down there, definitely,
write it off as a business trip.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
But
like Sophia's just said in the chat, the upside down of the internet is that you get a different reach just by yourself,
right?
And that's what I'm kind of thinking. It doesn't. I know you're sort of aiming it at Scientology and obviously like Liz's book as well, but because as we know with kind of SPTV and things, it's you're reaching more than just Scientologists.
Oh yeah,
right.
So like all sorts who could end up being sort of interested in it.
Yeah, like if I could get it reviewed by a couple book editors, that would be great. Hell.
Also, podcasts. It'd be good to go on different.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
Yeah, that and that's why I want to go on all the different SBTV channels.
Talk to Leah and Mike and see.
Yeah, well, I gotta work my way up the food chain.
I was gonna say,
I hear you.
Not
gonna get through Claire and Mark first.
Not to disparage on Liz, but started off with Liz. I've kind of been in contact with Chris Shelton. He mentioned something about that, so I'm gonna try to get on his channel. I want to go on.
They all kind of have the same people. Like Andrew Gold has a different sort of group of people.
Yeah, but if I can get on with Aaron.
Aaron's good because
Alex would be a good one.
Alex is good.
Yeah, definitely. But if I can, definitely, I'm shooting. To work my way around the different
Right.
channels.
Yeah.
Like I sent a
And
message
be
to Claire.
good to go and share on Chris's, because obviously he
Yeah.
wrote something for your book and things like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
and then I know Alex knows Andrew, so I can, because
Be right back.
I
Phone's
here,
ringing.
let me. I want to read a little bit about the introduction to you.
Okay, sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna go forward. Here he goes. Okay, so this brings me relatively recently, late in 2022. I'm in the midst of a self-imposed exile from the world. A long story for another time. I was dealing with emotional baggage, blah blah blah, and so I was watching a lot of YouTube when I happened upon the Danny Masterson trial drama through the YouTube channel On the Edge with Andrew Gold.
Very good.
Yeah, so it started off with him.
I didn't realize that.
So yeah, I would actually like to, I know Mrs. Jade knows Alex. I need to talk to him and just because it's interesting. Like I was telling Liz, this is a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has written, specifically haikus and limericks about a subject like this. So it's very, very unique,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting the word out there, just that's the business side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got to start somewhere, and this is a start.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that if you could get the people that got your that wrote blurbs for you, that would be awesome.
Well,
Well, if you can get Andrew Gold and Apostate Alex, that gives you the UK market.
Yeah.
So those would be good. Aaron, obviously. And maybe what you do is, and I think Leo and Mike might appreciate, is just send them a copy.
Oh, that's a good plan. Oh, believe me. Yes. The goal is to have my, how Claire has all those books back behind her.
Right.
I want mine back behind her.
Back in her behind. Yeah.
Yeah. I think especially the cover. I think it would go with it. Which shout out to Miss J. She is phenomenal. She's the one who did the cover for it. I just gave her the bare bones idea, what I wanted, and she gave me that, and it was perfect.
Awesome.
But doesn't Ash have a podcast? Ash?
Yeah, Ash does. Yeah, that's so effed up.
Yeah.
Again, I'd talk to Alex about that. Maybe he can grease the rails a little bit. But earlier today, I did send a message to Claire thanking her for contribution and all that stuff, and then I asked her if I could come on her channel. So I'm just waiting on her. I don't, So
pretty fun.
So I'm pretty sure it'll happen. It'll just be. They've got all kinds of other irons in the fire. I don't want mine. Just get to mine when you can.
When you can. So, Brian, what we'll do is one of these days we'll do maybe not the Food Talk Friday, but I'll throw up a live, and you can come on and just really push your book.
Yeah.
And read from it and that type of stuff. And basically it was a story time. Yeah.
And starting on Sunday, 11 a.m. Clearwater time, me and Miss J are doing our little poetry and toking, and Liz is actually Liz is probably going to be guesting on it with us.
Cool.
So
that'll be a lot.
There. Yeah,
Reese would be a really good one for you as well.
I want to talk to Reese. I'll send her a PDF of it if she wants to read it.
Cool.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah,
she'll enjoy
stuff.
It.
Actually,
I think
we're
she'll
friends.
like it.
We're friends on Facebook. I might as well just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, might as well. So we were talking about family things, and I'll tell you a little bit about mine. My grandmother, initially, my great aunt was the matriarch of the family. Aunt Sis, and she was very my camera decided to act up.
Oh no.
It's direct lined in. I don't know if y'all can still hear me.
We
can hear you.
Okay. it's direct line in. Let me figure this out. Sometimes
The
these
internet
cameras-
Thetans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Techno-Thetans.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just kind of acts up, and I've got to figure out.
Can you
There you
unplug
go.
it?
There you
Ah!
Hey.
Yeah, I'm using my cell phone, so every once in a while my cell phone goes, "Okay, you've had enough time. I'm going to bed." Yeah. So here we are. But anyway, with my great aunt, she was the matriarch of the family, and she was the one who made the rules that, and it was very hard for us as kids, is that we had to wait until the evening of Christmas Day to open presents.
Oh,
my
God.
We had to
God.
have dinner, we had to have all that done, and then we could open presents. And the worst part about it is everybody opened a present one at a time, and then they
Yeah.
showed it and oohed and
Uh,
awed, and then you move to the next one.
they made a production out of it.
Made
Huh?
a huge production out of it. But some of the foods that we would have is my grandmother always made the turkey, and the dressing, and she did pardon the dog. She did all of that stuff. But one of the things she made was something called giblet gravy, and it was. I refused to make it.
I know exactly what giblets are.
Me too.
Yeah, it was these giblets, which is basically the innard pieces, the liver and the heart and the giblets, and egg, and I don't know what all else was in it. But anyway, it's one of those ones that I just refuse to make. I make regular turkey gravy when I make it, but it is a family tradition. It's one of the things that we thought about as kids. It was like, oh God, we got to do the giblet gravy again. Yeah. You know.
Oh, that reminds me of the Big Bang Theory. Thing. You know, when they invited, it was Wallace was talking about his mother's Triscuit Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turkey stuffed with a brisket, stuffed with gefilte fish.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
He said, "I don't even chew. I swallow it like pills."
Oh. Yeah. Well, it was like I would fish around in the gravy bowl just to get the gravy part and leave everything else. You know, I mean, that was how I did it. And she used to tell this funny story about me when I was a baby, or very young. I have never been a fan of cranberry sauce.
Oh,
It is not something I make it. My husband loves it. I will have some of it, and I have now done. I have a ham glaze that's cranberry based, and so instead of making cranberries, and I love it. Instead of making cranberry sauce, I make that, and it'll be on my as we get into closer to the holidays. I will be making some of these things, and that will be one of them. But anyway, she tells a story about me about they wanted to see what my reaction was going to be to cranberry sauce as little, and they gave it to me, and she talks about the face that I made. It's just that
What
oh
is
my
that?
God, exactly. You know, but those are the kinds of things. Like I said, chicken and dumplings were a big thing. She always did that turkey. She had a stuffing that was a cornbread stuffing that she did. Now I do a different one. My husband came into the family with a base stuffing. It was literally it's bread and celery and onions and poultry seasoning and butter. Basically, that's about
That's
all it is.
very similar to my grandmother's.
Yeah, and although he didn't toast the bread, he
Mom
just uses
toasted
the
it.
bread. And so what I've done to it is I get craisins and I throw the craisins in there.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah, and it's really good that way. And then I have Adams Reserve makes a really nice. You can find it through, I believe, Adams.com. I'll have to look it up and I'll get it into my channel. But it's called white wine, garlic, and butter. It's a seasoning. And so what I do is I take the sage and the rosemary and all that, and I actually pull the skin up from the turkey and I butter inside, and I put the sage and the rosemary and all that under the skin. And then on top of the skin, I hit it with I do a garlic confit, which gives you a garlic infused olive oil. And so what I'll do is I'll brush the skin with that garlic infused olive oil and then sprinkle the white wine garlic and butter seasoning over the top. So that's
That makes
how
a
I do
crispy
mine.
skin.
It does. It's really good. And then I don't sit there and I don't do like some people do. I'd go the easy route. I put it in a bag and stick it in there.
Hey, I hate. I gotta knock off here. Some stuff came
Okay.
up, but thanks for having me on. We'll do
Not a
it.
problem.
We'll do it again, and I'll
We will.
see. There's probably a lot. There's a lot going on this evening, so I'll see y'all in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Bye.
good. We'll see you there.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
Brian.
Bye.
So anyway, so those are the kinds of things that we did Christmas time. Generally, I mean, like I said, my mother was never a really good cook. Sorry, Mom. But she never was. Now she got better, but she can't go off of a recipe. If she goes off of a recipe, we're done.
That's how my mom is.
Yeah. And she gets annoyed at the fact that I can do it and it comes out. I mean, it's just one of those things. And I'm like going, I don't know, Mom. It's just what sounds good, I figure it out. I hear you there, Mac. Everyone make Claire laugh. What do we need to do? There you go. There you go, Steve-O. Got it.
No. Maybe embarrassed.
So Mac says, aside from fried blood sausage, I don't want to eat the inner giblets. I don't even want to do that. To me, that's dog food.
Yes.
I boil those up, and the dogs get a treat on Thanksgiving with that. So,
Well, I had
yeah.
haggis and
Oh,
black pudding for the
haggis.
first time in Edinburgh. Yeah.
I can't understand that one. That one's beyond what it. I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but yeah.
We had it and I loved
there's
it.
a general lack
Really?
of salad up there.
I just
You have
don't
to think
know-
about it like sausage. You don't want to know what's in
Mhm.
sausage or
No,
a hot
you don't.
dog.
or hot dog.
But
No, you
Americans
don't.
eat that like crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know that because I'm one of those people who, if it's a weird food, I'm really questionable about it. It took me a long time to get to scallops and decide I loved them. So I'm I love scallops.
Me too.
So
What
I'm
about-
getting, go ahead. What about what?
I was gonna say the other one people probably don't want to know, which I don't either, is bologna.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know bologna. I
Yeah.
always wondered what that is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows
Some-
what it is, Claire.
Oh,
Nobody knows.
It's
It-
just bologna.
Yeah. Bologna.
Yeah, that's what I've always said.
Bologna is kind of, I think, mortadella, only not as good.
Still don't.
You know, so, I mean, that's kind of bologna. A lot of in the deep South, bologna is a staple. I mean, they do fried bologna sandwiches. So it's something that a lot of people eat a lot of. I don't. You're braver than I, Mac. I can't. Knowing what's in it, I kind of go, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that helped us with the haggis, Claire, was we ate it in a Scottish restaurant.
Mhm.
And the guy goes, well, you have to pour a dram of scotch over top.
Well, that'll do it.
Oh, no.
So I didn't
Yes,
like it with the scotch, but my boys did.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So the first meal on the Saturday night, I had it in an Italian restaurant. And it was the like sort of insides of the pasta. Now I can't think of what that pasta's called. But the one that's usually like the square. The innards of that.
Oh,
was
ravioli.
Raviolis,
That's it,
yes.
ravioli. Yeah, and that was like really, really nice.
Oh, that would be
But
good.
then I had it in the breakfast the next day with the black pudding, and it was all very nice. But Denver, this will put you off. I did rather smell, well, I thought I smelled anyway, of like potato for about 3 days when I came back, and I'm only just sort of feeling like I smell okay. It's really, really weird. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like then sort of all we really had was kind of beige food as such. So.
It looks like Denver's a Spam
Oh,
fan.
Spam! We know Spam.
Yeah,
I've never had
Spam in
Spam.
a can.
I've had Spam, and my dad used to make Spam sandwiches that they were really good. You know, but I like Spam. Most of my family does not. My husband and the boys just are like, what the hell is this shit? You know. But in Hawaii, Spam is huge.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
and I believe also in the South Pacific, it's all that area. Spam is a huge part, along with, you know, their fresh tunas and their fish and that type of stuff. You know, Spam is a big part of their culture. So yeah, there's some things you can do with Spam. Have a Spam pizza there, Denver. Make yourself a Spam pizza with pineapples, a new type of
I was
Hawaiian
just gonna
pizza.
say that.
I thought the same thing.
Hawaiian pizza.
Spam pizza.
Steve says Spam. Why?
Yeah, it is a delicacy in Hawaii. It is. And, you know, and people just here in Texas, people look at it and go, no, I don't think so, and walk on by.
Yeah.
But
My dad
you know,
was always corned beef in like when he was younger. So he's always been put off of it because again that comes in like a tin. Yeah, and it was like all he would eat at one point, apparently, or like be made to eat as such. So yeah, he's been put off that.
Steve-O's having trouble with the idea of Spam and pineapple on a pizza, apparently.
Delicious.
Yeah, I think it would be really good. You know, if you like Hawaiian pizzas with the ham and pineapple, you know, hey, Spam and pineapple, why not? Right?
Same
Right.
thing.
Yeah. So Mac is saying tried blood sausage as part of a deal that I didn't have to eat it again, and if I didn't like it, it's a regional tradition thing. So yeah,
You
blood
like it
sausage. I don't know that many people in Texas will do blood sausage. Boudin, on the other hand, you know, especially East Texas.
Oh, I love boudin.
Boudin's actually really good. You don't want to know what's in
Really?
it either.
Nope.
but it's actually really good. We had, back when I was a vet tech in Beaumont. I lived in Beaumont, Texas for a while. Hi, Miss Kim. Back when I lived in Beaumont, which is just over the border into Texas from Louisiana, I had boudin for the first time, and we had a client who raised emus, and so one of, you know, for meat, basically, it was supposed to be a low fat something or other, I don't remember, but anyway, a form of meat as a replacement for red meat, beef, that type of stuff. And she made a emu roast one time and brought it to the clinic, and I just kind of looked at it and went, I don't know about this. You know, my biggest problem is I don't like dark meat on chicken and turkey because to me
That's my
it's a
favorite.
texture thing. It's
I can
definitely
see
more
that.
flavor. It's definitely more flavorful, but it's a texture thing. To me, it's a little stringy, and I don't care for that. There's certain textures that there's people. A lot of times, there's people who are taste oriented, and there's people who are texture oriented.
I like it because it's more
Yeah.
moist, not
More
as
moist.
dry.
And a lot. Well, mine's never dry. My breasts are never dry. But yeah, see what we're talking about, breasts. So hi, Miss Kim. I'm in Texas too. Which town are you in? So
You know, I went to speaking of food, you don't want to know what it is. I went to a party once. It was a Cajun Christmas party.
mhm.
It was a friend of my sister's, and she goes, I was told not to ask what is in anything, just to eat it. And it was lots of venison and just lots of rabbit and stuff they caught. But that was the best freaking boudin I've ever had in my life because it was
It
homemade.
is so good. And I absolutely, Marcus talks about some of the things that he makes, and I'm wanting to get him on to get that. Fort Hood, you're just north of me, Kim. I mean, literally just north of me.
I have to go plug in. Hold on a second.
Okay.
You all keep talking.
Anyway, I'm gonna, Terry, since we're getting your lap, I'm gonna go ahead and pull you off and then put you back on once you're ready. So let me know. Anyway, so boudin is a Louisiana specialty. It really is. It's very good. I love a good étouffée. Just absolutely. Are you ready, Terry? So she's getting set up here. I'll give her a minute to get settled. There she goes. All right.
What's an étouffée?
It is a more of a. It's like a. It's hard to explain. Marcus would be great at this. Étouffée
Like a thick
is.
soup,
It's a soup, yes.
a stew kind of thing.
It's
Okay.
it's like a gumbo without the dark roux. Okay, it's kind of that type of thing. It's got peppers. It's got the holy trinity of Cajun cooking, which is onions, peppers, and I believe it's celery. I'd have to look that
Yep,
up again.
it is.
But I believe that's right. Unlike the mirepoix, which is onions and celery and carrots. So that's it. It's got that base. And a lot of times, like the first one I ever had was a catfish étouffée, and it was so good. And I have done a shrimp étouffée, and it was pretty good. I won't say it was authentic. A lot of I actually used a product from a company called Cookwell and Company. It was a Bayou Brothers Creole sauce. That was a base because, honest to God, I have to look up how, and that's one of the reasons I want to tap into Marcus because I know he knows those things. But since I didn't really know how to make the base, I used a Creole, pre-made Creole sauce, but it was really, really good. So
Jambalaya is my favorite. I love jambalaya.
Jambalaya is really red beans and rice is another one that I like. That's one I'm going to need to do for the bean and rice days. For for Sea Org. But those types of things. But so there are regional favorites. I mean, if you go up northeast in the Maine area, I mean, it's all about the lobsters. Maryland's got the crab cakes. Georgia, Georgia is pecan pie and what I can't remember what their
Peach
main-
cobbler.
peach cobbler, that type of stuff. Yeah. Florida, Chad. I mean, I know you're in Clearwater, Florida / New York, but but yeah, what's a New York regional food that you basically only find in New York aside from the great pizza?
I was gonna say, but wings. Does that count?
Wings, yeah, buffalo wings.
Yep.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, in Texas, it's all about Tex-Mex
And beef.
and beef. Yeah, brisket, Tex-Mex and brisket. That's Texas. And Claire, what's your regional?
I'm trying to think. So originally I'm from Essex.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think.
Fish and
It's not really
chips. Fish and
known for its
chips.
food much well.
Well, the Yorkshire pudding is obvious.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. I would say cockles.
Cockle.
Is kind of an Essex thing and then that sort of kind of goes into like sort of the East End of London. And then being in London, it's pie and mash. So we have our pie and mash shops.
Yeah.
And you have what's called a liquor, and it's a green. I want to say it's maybe like a parsley kind of sauce. That then like you pour over it.
Okay.
And
So
then
is that with
in
the
down
cockles?
South Coast. No. So the pie is pie mash is separate to the cockles. So with the
Okay.
cockles, you just have like a kind of a toothpick, and you just like have them by themselves. They usually
Yeah, 'cause
come
I
in
was
like
gonna
a little cup.
Yeah, because I was going to say a liquor is usually made from the juices that come from the shellfish.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
right. So I didn't know that. Right. So
Yeah,
then
that's
maybe that's
usually a
a
liquor.
thing. I
Yeah.
didn't realise that was that.
So
Yeah, and then I've lived down in Brighton where I went to uni. So then yes, then fish and chips.
cool. Well, in California is all about fusion food. So it's all fusion, and that's my cousin was in that area, and he did some amazing stuff, just really amazing stuff. I was talking to his sister, the other day. We lost him, it's been 2 years yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
And he was a personal chef he was like Dr. Phil was one of his clients, and that type of thing. And he had these wonderful, she says she's got notebooks of his recipes and his grandiose dreams. And I'm like, send them to me, send me a copy so that I can enter it. And that's sort of the family one, like the cobbler. That'll be a series that's basically family stuff. If you know anything that is actually I own, that I've made changes to, that I've done, I'll say sinfully on top. But like the spaghetti sauce and the meatball that I did very early on, that is actually my husband's family's from way back in Sicily. Spaghetti sauce and meatballs. That's how they did it. So that's why it says Papa G's spaghetti sauce, secret spaghetti sauce. That's so anything that doesn't have sinful is actually someone else's recipe that I'm bringing forward. And if it's somebody outside, and even if it is my family, because I did mention it in the description, this was my grandmother's cobbler, I will give them credit for it. So, it's one of those things, like if a viewer sends me a recipe and asks me to go ahead and try it because something they really like and they feel like they do well, which I welcome, guys. I mean, if you guys want to send me a recipe, I will work it up and do a video on it and give you credit. That's important. You need to give the original author credit. As long as you don't mess with it and you do it exactly like they did it, then they need the credit for it. So I make sure that happens. And I even do that even in the book that I did for my daughter that I'm kind of working on to do for just in general. It's nowhere near finished. It's probably got 150 recipes in it right now.
And you live in Texas right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a good recipe, but you have to have grits. So you can get grits. I make grits. I've got grits. Trust me, grits.
Another thing, Southern staple is grits. And in Louisiana, shrimp and grits is amazing.
Yep, we do those here too, but it's grits
grits
with a fried green tomato on top.
Because I've always wondered what grits are. What are
grits are corn. It's kind of
like polenta, sort of.
Yeah, very
Okay.
polenta-esque.
Do you guys make instant grits?
No.
No, that's from the movie.
No, but I will do
only if you want to be kicked out of the family.
Yeah. No kidding. That you don't do that in the South. But I will, Chad, just for you.
That was the same as the movie. He said no Southerners take pride in their grits.
Are you talking about the one with Karate Kid and
it was that Joe Pesci.
My cousin Lenny or something. Vinny.
Wasn't it Joe Pesci and that girl? I forgot her name.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, that was a funny movie. My husband, if that movie is on the television, it's on the television. If he finds it in the guide, it's on the television. It's like, oh my God, we've watched this 50 times. And I can recite the lines, dude. Yeah. Sort of like Lion King and my son, you can recite. The funny thing about my son, and this is actually really funny, is that he watched Lion King so many times that he decided he was going to change the caption language. And so he started doing the lines in French as the captions were I'm like, oh man, that's desperate. It's like, oh, I'm one of those that if it's a movie, I'll watch it once. If I really like it, I might watch it 2 or 3 times. But after that, if I know the story, what's the point? Is kind of the way I am. I'm not a big television fan. But anyway, so yes, Chad, just for you, I will do a instant grit something for your single parent.
Good, yeah.
Your microwave grit. Actually, we'll put it on Danny's, right? We'll do dinner with Danny.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Because that's probably the only grits he would ever get. It's really funny. I have looked up the list for the commissary, the things that the prisoners can get in the commissary in California. And actually it's relatively extensive. There's some things that I didn't expect to be on there that are like rice. I just need to find out, and I'm probably going to have to get a hold of Tommy Schofield maybe and see if we're talking like the Uncle Ben's throw it in the microwave rice, or are we talking real rice, which means how do you cook that stuff? On an iron, I guess. I don't know. There will be a lot of experimentation on that to see if I can actually cook it in the microwave. I mean, that's part of what will happen in this series. So, but you can get rice, you can get canned chicken, canned beef. Of course, the ramen is a huge thing. So basically, the recipe that I put up. Yeah, Steve, I hear you. but the recipe that I put up for the chicken and rice for you yesterday, I can actually do basically the same recipe using canned chicken. If it's the Uncle Ben's type, put it in the microwave. Hey, Joe. Put it in the microwave type rice, and then the packets from the chicken ramen, will give you pretty much the same thing. So, that's kind of a thought here. So hey, Joe, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. Terry, me and you need to talk about putting you in as a moderator on some of these ones that we do at some point.
Who, me?
So, yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
do moderating, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to visit about that at some point, because I don't know how to do that. But I don't think there's enough people in right now to make it worthwhile, because that's kind of keeping policing. But if things pick up, then yeah. So we'll work through that. I'll get you in there. I have Marilyn set up as one now, but she was busy today, so she had a date with her daughter.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I told her. Yeah, I told her family was much more important. So
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Yep.
so she's doing that. I'm hoping she's having a good time. So Miss Kim, let's see. You've been looking at canning meat for the winter for the second Snowmageddon. That's a funny thing, and Terry probably knows this too, being in Texas. We don't get snow
I'm in
here.
Alabama.
Oh, you're in Alabama. Okay. I thought you were in Texas. Okay. I must be Kim that's in Texas. Yeah. Anyway, it is Thai green. Oh, yeah, that's cool. It is a thing here in Texas. We don't get snow except for very, very North Texas, up in the Amarillo area. And so when we got snow, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, we got a good amount of snow. It was all over national news because our power went out and all what broke loose. But so we call it Snowmageddon. That's
We do too.
because we just didn't know what to do. I mean, I lived in the car for 4 days, because we didn't have power, and the stuff that was frozen and in the refrigerator, literally I ran out and stuck it in snowdrifts outside just to kind of keep it going. So, that was kind of what we did, and we had to carefully drive to find a bathroom. Those kinds of things were going on. And of course, the boys were in the car, and then my husband, me, and 3 German shepherds were in the expedition. So we didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So anyway, so Joe says that she sinfully good. You might like to know I cooked a Thai green curry for dinner. That sounds amazing. I would love to do curries at home. Unfortunately, I have one son who has very, very bad gastric reflux or acid reflux, and just everything has to be very bland. And I have some issues I lost, got rid of my gallbladder, and so I lost. Don't worry, Peter, you're blurred. My son just walked through. Anyway, and I have a sensitive stomach. I love the spice. It does not like me. Driving that old limo there, Chad.
Yeah.
Texting it.
Yeah, at school.
There's your hat. Oh, they're saying we're going to have another one?
Your water
Oh,
tank.
wow.
Ugh.
Let's hope not. Well, the weathermen are right, you know, once in a minute, blue moon. You know, they're right when they look out the window and say, "Hey, it's raining."
Yep.
You're going to get rain today. You know, I
Hey,
can't tell you how many times
remember-
it said that we're going to get rain, and then, you know, it's like, yeah, really? So Joe asked a question: is it true that Texas has its own separate electricity system which isn't connected to the rest of the USA, and that means that when you lose power, it's less backup? Yes, we do.
I've heard-
It is. It's very hard to explain. It's very political. There's a lot of people that are not, especially after Snowmageddon. There's a lot of people who got really unhappy about it. Because of what happened during Snowmageddon, but and the governor came down on it, and they're basically what was happening is they were trying to move from regular electricity production through the water, through hydro and through coal burning, over to wind power, and it was all fine and great until it got so cold that the grease and the oil in the wind turbines froze, and then everything stopped, and that's what happened. You know, it was between the higher use of electricity because of trying to keep the heat on and the freezing of the wind turbines. It broke down, and the governor got on and said, "Hey, turn those coal burning factories on." Well, doing that, you can't just do that in a short period of time. It's a process, and so we went through. Some people only lost their power for like a couple of days, and there were people who lost their power for like 2 weeks. So I mean, it was really, really rough. So yeah, but
there
yes,
needs to be more of a use of kind of everything. Like there needs to be more green energy usage, but sort of unfortunately we're going through such changes with it all at the moment that it's not going to work just using that.
Yeah, it's really, it doesn't normally, Joe. That was the issue. It just really doesn't get that cold down here. I mean, what people in, say, like Chad in New York, here's an example of Texas, okay? If they think that there might be snow, even if it's not enough to stick on the ground, if they think there might be a snowflake that falls from the sky, they cancel everything.
Yeah.
Same here.
It shuts down. I mean, literally, school's out. Yeah, school's out. The businesses are closed. I mean, obviously, grocery stores and that kind of stuff are still running, but everything shuts down. The highways, they get the trucks out and they're all sitting there and wait. We had one time where they were calling for snow, and they canceled schools the day before. There was never a snowflake that came out of that. Nothing. So they got a snow day with nothing happening. So, and then my husband, who's from Connecticut, laughed at that because he was like, gosh, it has to be 6 feet of snow before they even think about shutting. So,
but we can function in 90 and 100 degree weather, and the people up north can't.
Exactly.
It balances out.
Yeah. I mean, we're still wearing short sleeves and shorts at Christmas time here.
Yep.
The coldest months in Texas are the end of January, February, and the beginning of March. Yeah, those are the coldest months. Other than that, so yeah, I agree with you, Mac. I'm from Ohio and thought I was prepared, but after 30 years here, I wasn't. Yeah, I was born and bred in Texas. I can remember I moved to Tennessee when my husband and I first met. I moved to Tennessee and spent 7 years there in a little town just I want to say which direction? I guess northeast of Nashville, called Cookeville. And the first year it snowed, I was all excited because I had never seen snow. Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's pretty at first, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and I went out and I built my first snowman, and I'm kind of a perfectionist, so it was more of a snow sculpture, and went and slid down the hill in a laundry basket, and that kind of stuff, and that lasted an hour and a half, and then I realized that stuff was cold and wet.
Wet. Ugh.
And that was the end of that. I was like, okay, we can go back to Texas now. I don't want to see this again, And driving it, I was like, I'm not going to get out and drive. I don't know how, having never seen it, I just don't know. And so I wasn't going to drive in it, which made it kind of difficult to get things done. My husband was an OTR truck driver, so he was gone, And so I had to get to the grocery store. And so it was a real issue. But yeah, and when it came down here, yeah. Do I speak Texas German? I think that's what you're asking me, Joe. And no, I speak English. I speak Texan. I speak a little Spanish. Yeah, Southern. I speak a little Spanish. I can ask for a beer, a bathroom, and a horse to get away. I mean, that's about the extent, and I can cuss you out in Spanish. But other than that, I don't know much Spanish. I should have learned another language, and I didn't. Back when I was in high school, I was like, why? What am I going to do with it? But I should have, and it's a shame that I didn't. But anyway, and there's a lot of great culture here. You have the German culture in the Fredericksburg and New Braunfels areas. They have, in fact, Oktoberfest will be kicking off here pretty soon. My husband, actually, it was really funny. Yesterday he came in and said, I heard they were doing Oktoberfest. When is that? When do we start that? When do we, I want to go to that. What weekend is that? And I'm like, October. He's like, what do you mean October? I said, October. But yeah. So you're dead center Texas, maybe 3 to 5 freezing days a year usually, but since Snowmageddon, we've been getting more. Yes, we have. We get rain in the winter. My grass is so green in the winter and brown in the summer. Yeah. We're looking at, gosh, until recently in this week, literally, we were up above 100 degrees for a month and a half every day.
Wow.
So, and we would get up to 110. Yeah, it's here in Texas, and for the most part, I have no idea, Denver, what you just said. But here in Texas, you don't go without a refrigerator, or not without a refrigerator, without an air conditioner. It's like up north, you don't go without a furnace. Down here, it's air conditioner. We could do without a furnace. I mean, there's things we can do, but not that we'd like it, but we could do it. But without an air conditioner, you just die. It's unreal. So yes, I hear you. I don't know what you said, Denver, but I'll put it up there and somebody can tell me. But I know you're working on your German. So yeah, it does start in September, at the very end of, but yeah, but here in Texas, Oktoberfest is always
It's October.
Yeah, it's okay, Chad. Understand, working
School's
is working. School's out, exactly. So, but anyway, so like I said, I really think that there are a lot of food traditions in people's families that they don't think about until holiday season, and we're getting close to that. So that's kind of where I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no. I was just going to say, yeah, sort of like food traditions that people don't think of as food traditions.
Yeah, they don't. It's he just picked up Jazz. I was wondering if you were having him this weekend. That's awesome. My uncle Azil. What in the world? Oh gosh, is that what you said? My uncle Azil eat my underpants. Well, if that's a tradition in your house, Steve-O, more power to you.
One tradition we started with food on Christmas morning when we all got married and had to juggle when we could go to people's houses.
Mhm.
We would go to my mom's house for Christmas breakfast, and
Right.
she would always. We always called it chipped beef on toast.
Mhm.
The military, they call it shit on a
Shit on a
shingle.
shingle.
But it's my favorite thing. To me, that's holiday. And
Mhm.
she'd make homemade biscuits. That was her mother's recipe, and grits and scrambled eggs and
Mm.
gravy,
Yeah.
sausage gravy to go on the biscuits too.
Yeah, I'm working on a breakfast recipe right now. It's what I know it. I make it all the time. It's just that I'm trying to be up early enough in the morning to actually film a breakfast thing.
What
Now,
is it?
I call it a flatbed. And
Mhm.
basically what it is it's hash brown potatoes on the bottom,
Mhm.
and then a line of grits, and then eggs, and then gravy on top. So it'd
That's
be eggs with
interesting.
peppers and onions and that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So yeah, so that's one of the things I'm working on. I have what I call the ultimate breakfast casserole, and it is really good. It's almost like a frittata.
Mm.
It's just really, really good. So those are the two that I'm working on. Obviously, I did the French toast and the pancakes. So, and what I did with the funny thing that I did with the French toast, I didn't do it with the pancakes, is I made all those pancakes for that video. So I made a
Mhm.
big old batch of stuff, and so I took them and froze them, and my husband's using them like for breakfast sandwiches. He just puts them in the
Yum.
toaster and and fries an egg and puts a little sausage on it and puts 2 pieces of pancake, you know, and that's his breakfast sandwich. So so I'm doing that. But anyway, so in our family, I mean, traditionally, there's the Italian side, there's the lasagna, there's the spaghetti, there's the skilletinis, those type of thing. That's my husband's side, and my side is more the Southern comfort, the chicken fried steak, chicken fried chicken, some of the Mexican stuff, the Spanish rice, the enchiladas, that stuff. That's my side of the family. So we kind of have an eclectic mix here. Pete has to have his pasta every week. He can't go a week without pasta. There's just no way. I mean, that's just him.
I was going to say, yeah, that's my dad's thing as well, because he's a cyclist. So it's like Saturday is always pasta night, because then he's usually cycling on Sunday. Yeah, and then there'll be like a curry at one point, stir fry, a shepherd's pie, but again, it will be
using
more like
lamb, not.
but it's like, but my mum's like the same. Like she'll always just call it shepherd's pie, but she rarely actually uses lamb mince. It will usually be, it will usually be beef mince, but actually more often it will be corn mince, just because then it's less fatty. So yeah, that's like sort of really nice about. And then, but then she'll sort of, it won't be. So with a cottage pie, you tend to have veg in with the meat as well.
Right.
But she'll do it like a shepherd's pie, so there won't be the veg with the meat. We'll just then have that on as a separate.
So it's a meat pie more than a okay.
With potato on top, basically.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, and then like I say, sort of kind of the Sunday roast sort of roast dinner is sort of then kind of more of like a big sort of family thing. Like when we all get together, like that's when she'll do that.
Right. Yeah, we don't do, in our family, it's usually holidays that we have the big meals. I just throw stuff together at night, and I'm notorious for what's in the fridge and what's in the pantry,
Me too.
And throw it together. The Wiggle Tails one that was there, that was a case of that. It was like, okay, I have pasta, I have this pork, I have some of this sauce left over, and that type of stuff. That same with the chicken parmesan casserole that I did, the Musco chicken parm. That was leftover spaghetti. and some leftover spaghetti sauce and some frozen chicken patties. That's what that was. I mean, those kinds of things. And so I'll probably be doing more of those. I like I said, I try to put content up every day. I don't always make it, but so that means that I'm actually having to. I cook what I cook 3 days prior to is what goes up that night. So it's like I made chicken and dumplings 2 days ago. Tonight will be when I'll be editing that one and getting it up. But so that's kind of how that works. So I'm having to make different things than I normally do. I know you have. I think every family does this. There's a rotation that you do. There's like 10 to 15 recipes that you rotate throughout. And so you get, and then every once in a while, I really want something different. I'm tired of these 15 recipes. So you go looking for something, in doing what I'm doing now on this channel. I have to do that every day. I can't re-rotate now, which is why I go 3 days ahead, is so that I can, I really don't feel like dealing with something new tonight. I can go back and do, one of those through the rotation. So last night was one of those. That was the chicken and rice that I actually put up this morning. So, so that one, but I did that one specifically for the single parents for Chad. So I did that specifically for that. I had done it before and I missed a piece of the filming, so I went back and got that piece that I was missing. So that was what that was about. But so I mean, there are certain things that yes, and like we talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving is always turkey at my house.
Us too. My husband won't eat ham.
Yeah, it's always turkey, and this year I'm probably going to get a turkey breast because again I'm going to be starting this here pretty shortly, so I'll get a turkey breast and I'll probably smoke it, put it in the smoker, and we'll do that, which will be fun because it's not something I've done a lot of smoking, but I haven't done a turkey yet, so it's going to be sort of a learning experience for me as well. And then I'll have the traditional turkey again, probably September, October, early November, somewhere in there, just because I'm going to need it to get it up on the channel before Thanksgiving. And then Christmas time, and this is what I told them. I said, we'll have Thanksgiving in October, and then we'll have Christmas at Thanksgiving, and then I will have New Year's on Christmas. So move down that, which is. So my family is turkey on Thanksgiving, and then I do a prime rib on Christmas. So I do a full prime rib roast, and that tends to be our Christmas dinner. And then on New Year's, because my family absolutely refuses to eat black-eyed peas or cabbage, which is a Southern tradition.
Yes.
That the deal, if nobody knows or if anybody hasn't heard, here in the South, on New Year's Day. And so, which means they will get it twice. You eat cabbage for money, and you eat black-eyed peas for luck.
Ah.
And
you don't add cornbread in with it?
Oh, I always have cornbread.
Okay.
Of course.
Those are the three we have to have.
Three, yeah. Those are the three. And I can't remember what the cornbread signifies. Excuse me. I just don't remember that. I knew the other two. And there's some people who actually take a piece of cabbage and put it in their wallet, to and they carry that all year long to attract money. Yeah, to attract money. So that's the big deal. So what I do for New Year's is I do a sauerkraut is cabbage. Simple. So what I do is I do a sausage and sauerkraut mix, adding the black-eyed peas into it. So it's a whole concoction of the black-eyed peas, the cabbage, the kielbasa or sausage, and it's all mixed up. And so they eat all of it, and they will eat that. So that's our New Year's traditional, with a side of cornbread that I make from scratch, and we'll have a beer or something like that.
We don't do that at my house because my husband was the New Year's baby. So he gets to pick all the food we eat on the first.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
the New Year's baby of Alabama.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for coming, Joe. I do appreciate you showing up and enjoy your practice. Um, but anyway, so those are the kinds of things that we have. And then Easter is always ham. So we do a ham on Easter. And so those are the four traditional meals that we do in our family. Other than that, we do a brisket on or ribs or pork butt on the smoker for 4th of July, those types of things. I want to say, what did we do? I think I did ribs for Labor Day, because that's usually the closeout of the grilling season. Is same thing as you don't wear white shoes after
Yes.
labor.
It's the southern end of summer.
Yeah, the southern end of summer, and so it's funny. It truly is. I mean, the rule is you don't wear white shoes after Labor Day, and
Interesting.
yeah, it's actually really funny. Some of the traditions here in the South are just you just look at them and go, really? The funny thing is that there are such funny laws here as well. I mean, there is actually a law in the books, not that anybody pays attention to it, but there's actually a law on the books that you cannot paint your neighbor's cow. Okay.
Now that's all I want to do.
So, I mean, it's like, who paints your neighbor's? You're not allowed to wear wire cutters in your back pocket. Things like
don't
just
know.
weird ones. Yeah, you can't spit on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Oh, that's
We
very
have
good.
one
I
something
love
about railroad tracks that's really strange, but I can't remember what it is.
that. Funny.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of neat traditions that are over. Yeah, it sounds like someone was drunk. Well, the funny thing
Yeah.
is you can't paint the neighbor's cow, but you can go over and tip it. So, I mean, there's kind of a funny bunch of stuff that are really kind of fun things that are just uniquely Southern. My
Did you
stepmother
grow up going to Decoration Day?
did.
Do you know what
Did
that
I grow
is?
up when?
Going to Decoration Day?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that like for Christmas tree or
No. You go, anybody that's ever driven in the South or anywhere, you'll notice that all of a sudden all the cemeteries have flowers on them. And it's because it's a certain families go at certain times and they clean up the graves and they put flowers on them. And then you have a
Yes, I've
family
heard about
reunion
that.
afterwards.
Right. Yeah, I've heard about that in Italy. That's like a thing.
They do that in
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if it's all over. It's not something I noticed when I lived elsewhere, but I mean, like if a funeral is going by, you pull over and
Yes.
turn on your lights and you wait until everybody goes by.
Everybody.
And if it's like a politician or something, you're there for an hour. Yeah. It's like you just don't move. It's a sign of respect. But yeah, there's that one. There
And when you pass somebody when you're driving in the neighborhood, you have to wave.
Yeah, you wave. Have you ever noticed that people in the South wave,
Yeah.
and people elsewhere, like up north or out west, are like, "Why is that fool? Do I know them?" They don't understand. It's just a wave, So you wave at everybody. A lot of different stuff is kind of tradition here in the South, and some of it's really cool. There's a lot of respect given, and not so much anymore, but it used to be. I remember as a kid, if I was talking to an adult, it was yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no
Yes,
sir.
sir. Mm-hmm.
And you didn't thank you ma'am, can I please use that type. You didn't not say ma'am and sir. It's not so much that way now, but yeah, back when I was a kid, there was a lot of respect for elders, here in the South, and I don't. I mean, I'm assuming it was same, within families elsewhere, but not. This was everybody. I mean, it didn't matter.
Yes.
It didn't matter if you knew that person or not. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes or no, sir. So I remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember yeah, Terry, you probably remember this. I don't know, Claire, since you being in the UK, probably don't. But every morning at school started with a Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer.
Oh yeah, not Pledge of Allegiance, but I was in a school. I can't remember if it was really. We did it in my first primary school because I have sort of hazy memories of that. But my second primary school, we always did some sort of prayer or hymn.
Yeah. So that was, and I doubt that was just a Southern thing, but I think it held on longer in the South than it did anywhere else. So I mean, that kind of stuff, and of course, when you're talking about school lunches and stuff like that, I mean, here when I'd go to have school lunch, I would go. There was the main lunch line, and then there was this little almost snack where you got hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that. And I would always go there, and I would get a burrito with chili and cheese, and that was what I would have for lunch. And so you had we had vending machines in school then, where you get a soda and that type of stuff, all of that. So I mean, it's kind of interesting the way things have changed, because I don't think that kind of stuff is going on in schools anymore.
Nope.
So I can remember the first day at college. I was like freaked out that there was a Burger King and a McDonald's in the Commons. It's like, wow. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I was in school, in the one thing that I do remember from the first primary school I went to was always being made by the dinner ladies to finish my lunch. My mum would make me Marmite sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only member of my family that does not like Marmite.
I don't know if I could do that.
I don't think I could try that either.
Yeah.
And because, like you were saying, sort of with the respect thing, it's something that I'm sort of kind of later in life struggling with, kind of where that kind of came from. But I would just wouldn't tell my mum. I don't think I've even told her until sort of like maybe sort of a few years ago that I didn't like, like sort of I was kind of made to eat them, and that I didn't like them, and she was horrified because like I just wouldn't tell her because sort of like she's my mum, she's making my lunch, and
she made Marmite sandwiches for lunch, and you're like, oh God.
Yeah, exactly. So I would just like, I don't know, I can't remember like what exactly I did, but maybe I just like nibbled around the edge or had everything else in my lunchbox. But oh no,
we would trade
because I'd left them. The dinner ladies were awful about, they might as well have sort of like shoved them down my throat. Like they were just like standing there, like I couldn't go anywhere until I ate them, basically.
Yeah, we would trade is what we would do. If we got a sandwich we didn't like, we would, hey, I got a bologna sandwich. What you got?
Yeah.
we would trade. But yeah, I can see that. I don't know that the Vegemite and the Mirmite. I don't know. I don't know that I could do that. I guess it's something that, if you grow up with it, it's no big deal, but if it's something that you're looking at as an adult, as a new thing, sometimes it's a little hard to go, gee, I don't know, just doesn't sound appealing to me, and as a kid, that would be difficult as well. So yeah, if you didn't like it, I wasn't a fan of peanut butter and jelly. That was my thing.
I love that.
I
like it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan. I'll eat it. I like every once in a while. To give me a peanut butter sandwich, you better give me a big glass of milk. Because
I don't like milk, but I like crunchy peanut butter. I like it real crunchy.
It's got to be crunchy.
Yeah, I don't do crunchy. The only peanut butter that, believe it or not, the only peanut butter I like is the honey roasted. I will.
I do like honey and peanut butter
I
together.
will eat that, but again, with my diabetes, I shouldn't eat that, so I don't do it very often. But I do. It's like the chocolate cobbler I made last night. It was like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You
give
might
that give that grandbaby a kiss and a hug from all of us.
Oh.
You have a great day, Miss Kim. But anyway,
Yeah, what I really love, which is I don't have it that often because it's obviously very bad, but is what you would call grilled cheese. Yeah, cheese toasty with honey on top. Oh, it's gorgeous.
there
So
is,
nice, sweet.
and I'm going to do this for the channel just because I think it's going to be funny. There is what we call a grilled Elvis. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a grilled
I
Elvis.
can imagine what that is.
What that is a peanut butter and banana and bacon sandwich,
Mm.
and it's grilled. It's like a grilled cheese. So his favorite Elvis Presley's favorite sandwich was peanut butter, banana, and bacon. So, so usually if we make a peanut butter, banana, and bacon, it's called an Elvis. So,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. So I'm probably going to do one of those for one of the single parent meals because that's simple. I mean, and a kid would love it. I mean, you're talking about peanut butter, bananas. Yeah. Bacon's not bad, and you can do it without bacon if you want to, you can also do a grilled peanut butter and jelly, and those turn out really, because they're gooey at that point, you get really gooey. So kids love those. But anyway, so I mean, those and that's another Southern thing. I mean, Elvis is Memphis. It's South. He's you don't mess with Elvis down here. It's one of those things where with Elvis, yeah, he's the next best thing to a god. So yeah, that's going along those lines of what you were talking about with your grilled cheese. Yeah, we do a grilled cheese down here. That we use that processed American cheese. There's nothing better for melt and pull.
That's what it's made for.
Yeah, that's what you use it for. Use that and maybe if you're doing a microwave queso, get a thing of Velveeta and a can of Rotel and throw it in your
We have a
microwave.
restaurant here they have a food truck, and
Yeah.
all they make are different grilled cheese sandwiches. And their most popular is use thick Texas toast, and they have macaroni and cheese in the middle.
I have thought about doing it. Yeah, it's a mac and cheese. Basically, it's a fritter. They do a fritter and then they put that in the center. Yeah. But yeah, that I've seen those, and yeah, they're. It sounds really good. It sounds really evil and
very
really good.
carby.
Very carby.
Ooh, maybe some bacon in it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
See, I put when I make my homemade my scratch mac and cheese, I usually use prosciutto in it. I'll chop up some prosciutto, and I'll put that in there. Now I want to do one that is for Claire Headley. I'm trying to get to her to give me permission for it because I don't want to use anybody's name without, having permission to do it. Just like I don't know if you guys saw me this past week was yelling at Aaron, can I use your name?
Yes.
I was watching that stream when
that's what that's about, is that I had that sandwich and I wanted to name it after him. And yeah, so
I think that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that I have permission from the people who I actually name something after. It's like I didn't think about it before I did Denver's stroganoff, or I probably would have been the Denver beef stroganoff or something like that. He can tell me if he wants me to do that or not. I'll let he knows my email. But anyway, so I'm trying to get that with her because she made a comment very early on. It's been a little while that she really, really hated tuna casserole, which is basically macaroni and cheese and tuna I have your permission. Okay, I'll change it, Denver. It's basically macaroni and cheese and tuna, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and some peas. That's basically what tuna casserole is. Because I think what her issue is that tuna and all that, it's kind of, depending on how you do it, it kind of gets old, and it's just not, it's the same thing every time. So what I want to do is I want to turn it on its head. I want to grill some lobster with a great butter sauce as you grill it, and then cut it up and make a quote unquote tuna casserole using a lobster instead of tuna. So it basically is a lobster mac and cheese.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And so that is the tuna casserole, quote unquote tuna casserole, that I want to name after Claire Headley. So but I need to get with her about that and see if she'll let me do that. I have written her an email and I haven't heard back. Hopefully maybe she will hear from somebody who heard from somebody who said, hey, Sin is trying to get in touch with you for this reason. But I've got that. I've sent the email to Aaron to tell him that his sandwich is up. He gets so much email. God knows if he'll ever get to it.
He was saying the other day he's so far behind because he was out of town, and he actually responded to one of my emails. I think he was on the plane. I think that's what he did when he was on the plane.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that he'll get that, because he asked me to. When I got his permission to name it after him, he said asked me to send him the link to it. So that's what I did. And I also sent him the entire recipe. It's on a PDF file, so he can just print it. So he didn't have to go anywhere. Yeah. But anyway, so I've done that. There are, like Brian was saying earlier, there are channels I'd love to get on. Claire and Mark is one of them. I'd love to get on Aaron. Andrew Gold would be great. So would Apostate Alex, Kelly Copter. There's a set that I'd really like to. I wish I could get on. And I totally understand part of the reason that I'm not is because I'm a never in. And they're concentrating on those that have been in it, and I get it. I'm not going to be sour if that never happens, but I think it would be really cool. It'd be a lot of fun. So anyway, all right. Well, we've been at this
an hour and a half.
Hour and 42 minutes. So we've been at this for a while. And I do appreciate everybody. Claire, if you want to tout your channel, please do.
Hey. I'm the Ethical Tailor.
I'm going to get you a banner.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
In the private chat.
Awesome.
I have been super bad at doing any videos of late, just because my schedule is a bit all over the place. But I am doing my Clothing Love Stories series. If anyone wants to come on that, do let me know. Juliana, I'm calling you out. She's let me down. She doesn't want to come on. I'm so offended, but it's fine, Juliana. I love you. But it would be really cool to get obviously other people on, just to chat about your favorite outfits and things like that, and where if places that you've worn it and things like that, just to really sort of promote that kind of rewear of clothing already in our wardrobes. I'm working on a series that will come out whenever it does with Witness, about sort of the dark side of fashion, some legal stuff and such things, with clothing, fast fashion going suing each other and things like that, basically. And then I'm voicing over my videos, as another thing. So I'm hoping, I think next week it's not quite going to happen, but definitely the week after. To get into a full schedule.
Yeah. So how is the voiceover going? Because all of my videos are voiceovered.
Really good. So I they were videos that I did during lockdown, of me sort of doing certain elements of kind of sewing, and then I'm just doing a live and just kind of talking over favourite. So I did my first one, and my only one so far was the sort of functions of a sewing machine and so setting up a sewing machine. And yeah, that's I think I've got like 77 views on that. That's quite
Nice.
exciting.
Nice.
But yeah, it's quite funny doing it because obviously I filmed them so long ago. I'm going along with the video, and then I'm like, sort of when do I start getting into it and things like that. So yeah, so it's quite funny with that. Also, I've got my little links on my page for you can buy me a tea because I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
But within that, I have a few different bits that sort of, if people want to, then they can sort of like help fund technology wise, because my wonderful microphone does not seem to want to work. And I think it actually might be something to do with my laptop being a bit old. So rather than do another microphone, I think I just need to get another laptop. So there's just a thing for that. But what I most want to promote is that there's a fund that you can pay towards to like pay a sewing class forward. So you're paying, I think it's like in sort of like £15 chunks or something like that, or £5 chunks that you can sort of kind of pay that, and then once it gets to sort of like £15, then that's like an hour's worth of teaching for someone who can't otherwise afford it.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love that concept.
Yeah, that's a neat concept.
Yeah, it's because obviously, like, you still like like buy a coffee forward kind of thing. So I was like, that's what I really like, because I think the only way to get people out of poverty is to give them skills and equipment, and so that's kind of my bit for doing that. That kind of other people can sort of pay into, basically. I've got like a little pot going, but it's not sort of big enough for me to kind of do much with. And I need to look at like charities that I can do that through as well. And I actually the other day signed up with the Aftermath. I don't know kind of when, if ever, I'll like hear from it, but I signed up to be that I can sort of provide work for people that come out of Scientology and such things. So yeah, so that's something that I feel really good about. And yeah, so that's kind of up there at the moment.
Very cool. That's some neat ideas. Yeah, when I do my voiceover, I'm literally watching the video as I'm talking. So
that's how I do mine.
Yeah. And I have
Sophia was in the one that I did the first time, and so
it takes a little while.
Funny. I had someone else comment and they said it was funny. So you go, it's like
the funny thing,
you get a bit of jokes along the way.
Yeah, the funny thing is, the very first one I did, I had this whole script that I was reading, and after about 2 or 3 of those, I'm like going, that's not me. That's not how I work.
Exactly. That's why I was like, well, I'll just do it live, and then it's just sort of there, and then I don't have to think about it, because I've been putting it off for like the whole time, because I was trying to do it, like video it, and then I can't go in and edit myself and sort of in that way, so I just well, my microphone is running the entire time I'm filming. So when I go into editing, the first thing I do is I separate the sound from the video, and then I delete the sound that whatever it was that was going on in the background. So that's how I do it. So it's kind of funny that way. Terry, I don't think you have a channel, do you?
I do not.
You do not. But you're a great moderator. I do know that. I've seen you moderate on numerous chats, and moderating it is not easy. It's,
it's easy to do when you're just moderating. It's hard to do when you're talking or on. And I'm a good multitasker, but I can't, because something's going on here and something different's going on here, and that's where I have the trouble.
Yeah.
But, and I like saying hi to everybody. I like making sure everybody is acknowledged.
Well, it's like with Juliana. Juliana can do that pretty well. Although a lot of times now she's moving into the background, but she even when she's on camera, she's very good at that. So, but yeah, like I said, moderating is not an easy job, folks. It's sometimes thankless. but it is a necessary evil. And watching some of these people who are Goldie and Terry and Penny, and there's a set of them, watching them work in the chat, they it may be thankless, but we're all thankful. So
You probably need to get Penny, ask Penny too, because
yeah,
she and I are kind of hit and miss, so you can probably get one of us.
okay.
If you're going to be on.
Like I said, I don't know that I have enough people at this point to make it, where it's not like Reese and Jenna blew up like they did, mine's going to take a while, but yeah, I like that. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I can deal with it because there's usually like one person watching or one person chatting.
Yeah.
Although I did have, as Chad was saying in the chat, I did have like 4 people on my Packing for Edinburgh October Love Stories live, so that was really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does get hard.
Well, Denver, just so you know, I'm always open for a Xeno Nation or a after party, whatever. Just so you know.
Yeah. I wish I could be
So-
up for the after parties. They always look so fun.
Yeah, so that they have a lot of fun, and I would really enjoy being a part of that because I have kind of a interesting sense of humor. We'll call it interesting. How about that? I can go places in my mind, and
Me
it's one of-
too.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
we got into a discussion one night as to whose mind was dirtier in Xenu Nation chat one night. So I said all these people with dirty minds in the gutter pay rent to mine.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. Anyway, so we're going to wrap this up here pretty quickly. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and throw mine up here. Please like and subscribe to both. Claire, did you put this on your channel as well? Because if you didn't,
No, it hasn't come up that I can do
Oh.
that.
Yes,
you should
can.
be able to on the stream. It should be
I
up at the
know,
very
yeah,
top.
you can with Chad. So yeah, I don't know if I've gone in through a different type of link, but
If I put it on the StreamYard chat, does it go on the YouTube chat?
yeah.
Because I just put
see it
Claire's
there. Let me
stream
see.
Yeah,
on there.
it does go on.
I'm not watching it for once because my
Yeah.
low.
It does go into the chat on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Well, then her
Thank you.
link ought to pop up. So.
Thank you
so
very much.
to those that are watching that go over to Claire's channel, please like and subscribe to her channel. We need to get our subscriptions up. What are you at now?
I'm on 29. I thought, but she might already have been subscribed. When I was watching someone's chat the other day, I think it was Marilyn, bless her, and she put one of my chats up that I wasn't expecting to go up, but like yeah, people seem to be like subscribing to me like during that because I was on it chatting quite a bit, and then Joni said like sort of what was the channel, and I presume she meant me, so then I sort of put it on there and was like, oh, like you can be my 30th, but I wonder if actually she's already subscribed to me. And then that was like the one that Marilyn put up, and I felt so embarrassed because I don't like to like take over other people's streams, obviously, until I'm on them. But yeah, so yeah, I'm on 29. I've put up enough videos, but I'm on like 4 hours of watch time, so
Oh wow.
get watching people.
Yeah, we need to get.
I have to do my own like sleep.
So here's what you do. You make a nice big long playlist, and
yeah.
we go in and we just let it run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put everything on a playlist, and we'll just let it run
So
in the
do you
background.
do that in like your community tab? Because I've heard people.
No, there's a tab that's You actually do it in your content tab. Go into your content and create a playlist.
Right.
And then you can, in your content, it has a drop down once you hit a playlist, and you can check there's little boxes next to your content. on your
Yeah.
content page. If you click on those, it checks and you'll see have a drop down. And there's one that says playlist, and they'll say create a new playlist at the bottom. And then
Oh, yeah.
so
Because I have them as playlists, so that's cool.
yeah, so just make a big old long playlist,
A bit of
and and just people. That's Chad and Stevo when they were getting ready for the chatathon for Mike. Did that. Hey, Juliana.
Hey, Juliana.
But they had playlists, and that's literally what I did. I had 3 accounts that I actually had 4 accounts that I opened in different browser windows. So I would pull it off in one, and I'd pull it off into another, and I'd pull it off into another, and then I would turn on their playlist and put it on mute and just let it go. And that was literally how I helped them. Now I won't say I wasn't the only one, obviously,
Yeah.
but that was the way that I helped them on their watch hours. So so if you put a big old long playlist and people just go over and turn it on and have it run in the background, you know.
Cool. Yeah, because I have wanted to, because I was at the start doing some like sort of lives, like when I would alter something and just kind of have it going for like a few hours
Mm-hmm.
and kind of chat along the way. But because I'm in a mixed studio, so
Uh-huh.
and it's so hard that sort of later at night is kind of, there's like a lot of the sort of evening people coming and they blink in chat and music everywhere. And I don't know sort of obviously how it sounds. I was told it was okay, but yeah, I just didn't really feel that comfortable. I get a bit, I'm all right when I'm here because I'm in my room, sort of I pretend that no one else can hear me, but when I'm in my studio I get so conscious of like people hearing me, and yeah, I just get a bit
we don't want to burp and poot and
yeah, and just I don't know, I get very conscious about myself talking. I don't know quite, I mean, it's a childhood thing, but it's just like a weird thing that I sort of get. So when I can afford to get my own place, sort of like, then I want to do like full day, just like streamings. But yeah, so maybe I'll sort of kind of do some more like during the day ones. Like that.
Well, I think Denver's cornered the market on sleeping with people. You know, I hate to steal his idea just for
talking if I do that, because I sleep talk.
I get into his chat when he's doing the sleeping with Denver, and we'll get in there and just cut up. And there was one night that we were talking about word salad, weird things.
Oh yeah.
And talking about recipes, the word salad recipes. What would we do? And there was somebody who said something about a nothing to it burger or something like that. And so it was like, okay, how do you do that? And so there was no meat involved. So there was mushrooms, and there was an A1 sauce, a special A1 sauce that I was, actually it's a bodacious sauce that I was talking about, and lettuce and tomatoes and all of that stuff. And then grilled or what was it? Caramelized onions, but no burger. So you had all the fixings and a brioche bun, and all toasted brioche bun and all that. And but it was just the stuff. There was no burger to it. And we were going to call it the Clearwater Chad Nothing Burger or something like that. It was really funny. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds really good.
So we had that discussion.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
So in poor Denver wakes up to these crazy discussions and goes, "What?" So
exactly.
It is. All right. So we're looking at 2 hours. So if anybody has anything they want to say, please say so now. We will do this again next week. I will probably send you all invitations again.
Yeah, that usually works for me. Yes. So I will see y'all around.
Sounds good.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk about some other food subject next week. Maybe we'll talk about cell block cuisine. What do you think?
Ooh, that sounds good.
Oh yeah.
So, all righty, everybody. Y'all have an awesome day.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.